juncture.
I keep asking myself a question, and I want the people in the chat. Will Man United ever go back to be a top club? Or should we just accept that Man United, at the current moment, as a team, are a mediocre for the foreseeable future? I'm not saying
answer
never.
this question
Hold on,
objectively.
let me just finish. I'm not saying never, but I'm saying, should we just accept that for the foreseeable future, as of now, that Man United, we will have to wait for them to be close to the top and be similar to Chelsea, Arsenal, Liverpool, Man City, and these guys? I keep asking myself this question. I don't know the answer.
Yes, but the reason why your question is unfair is because no one knows the answer. And that's what I was telling Terry earlier on. The objective thing to do is criticize when there is criticism and praise when there is praise. That's just the reality of the situation. People in life now, in football content, just want to be black and white all the time. Oh, Ineos are shit. Oh, Ineos are good. No, they're not shit. They're not good. We don't know yet. And I'm the same thing. Like, even from the outside looking in, I have to wait and see. With Man United, look, there is, it will take a while. It will take a while, yes. But here's the thing. I can't rule it out. Because my club were in their position. I know exactly that all it takes is one elite manager. All it takes is one fantastic player. By the way, in 13-14, it was almost a Luis Suarez carry job to a Premier League title. Like, what happens if they sign, like, you know, a player and he scores 32 goals in a season and almost drags them over the line? You never know. So my point is, I think this question is unfair because I don't think not Terry, not me, not anyone in the universe can give you the answer to that question, because the genuine answer is we don't know. Meaning,
but what about the indications?
Let me say it.
No,
let's say the next 3 years, right? Let's say 3 years from now, the goal is 3 years from now, Man United want to win the league. Okay? So let's say they have a 3-year plan whereby 2028, they're the Premier League champions. Okay? If they want to do that, for the next 2 or 3 years, they need to make at least 50-60% correct transfer decisions, because no club makes 100%. There will be transfers that fail. So they need to do 50 or 60% correct transfer decisions. They need to stick by one manager, whether it is Amarim or another guy that they get this summer. And they need to see consistent improvement. Meaning, forget where you finish in the league this season. Next season starts, Man United finish 4th. The season after, you finish 3rd or 2nd. You challenge, you fall off a little bit. Then the year after, you make that 1 or 2 additions, and then you can challenge or win the league. That's how you rebuild the club. Now, how can I tell you if they will do that if I don't even know what Ineos are yet? It's impossible.
Yeah. So look, to answer the question, I don't know. Exactly. I don't know.
What about the indications? What you have seen over the past 2 years?
Okay, but this is the thing with the indications. In the summer, when there was talk about the new stadium, which is also still on the cards, the way we operate in the transfer window, building a structure for Ten Hag, I remember sitting here and a lot of the people saying no chance, no chance, no chance, were saying United are moving seriously, you know. Look how quickly they got these deals done. The biggest amount they've ever raised in the sale of players in the summer. This season hasn't gone on the field of play how we expected. So now the indication is, nah, absolutely no chance. So for me, in the space of 9 months, we've seen it, fuck me, United look serious, go to United are absolutely dead and absolutely buried. We could start the next season, get to sort of September or October and be like, wow, look, those new 5 players have done well. They're growing in the league. Well, if they continue with this linear growth, that means in 2 or 3 years' time, they'll be up near the top. For me, there is some indications that this could go horribly wrong, which is why we're calling it out and criticizing. There's some other elements where you look at them trying to raise money, trying to lower the debt, looking to increase revenues, looking to get investment so that they can build a new stadium, which will generate more money. That new money coming in should therefore help to lower these debts, which means you can keep spending and growing the team. They've been very public in the plans they've put together for the women's team and the men's team as an example. So there's some good indications. There's some really poor areas. What I think is really muddying the water is what's happened on the field of play. But on the field of play, I was talking to a Sporting Lisbon fan today. I was trying to get him on and trying to work out a time. And he was kind of breaking down how bad things were at the start under Amarim, how people didn't understand it, how it took so much time. And he literally said it's almost like for like. Now, the reason why I'm bringing that up is this. When it comes to everybody shitting on Chelsea, they're very happy to use the like for like scenario with Enzo Maresca. Falls off in the second half of the season. When it comes to Jose Mourinho, everybody was happy to use like for 3rd season syndrome. So for me, I'm not putting all my eggs into that basket saying 100% it's going to work because it did at Sporting. But at the same time, I'm not going to write that off. I'm not going to write off that pattern. I think as people, we're very happy to recognize a pattern when it gives us the end result we want. We want to ignore them when it gives us an end result or a conclusion that we're hoping does not exist. So for me, I don't know whether we can get back. Now, base over if you're going to base that over 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years, yes, it's probably likely at some point in that period we get back near the top, because if you go on an infinite timeline of football, Man United have been at the top 3 or 4 times. So based on like the probability we can get up there again, the Glazers can't own us forever no matter what goes on. So yes, we will. But in the short term, I can't give an answer. I don't know. I really, really don't. Which is also
because I had this conversation with somebody, and they're like, if Man United next season started the season and you're like 10th or 9th, by December, I believe the pressure will be on, and Amorim, they're more likely to be sacked, in my opinion.
Yeah,
if they give him 2-3 players, and then by December, you're not Spurs. Man United is not Spurs.
No,
the fans are not as patient as Spurs.
Yeah, but I don't want. This is the thing. People go, well, what would make you be angry at Ineos? If we start listening to the fans too regularly, as in the knee-jerk reactions that we all have as supporters, the same people calling for Amorim's head today, if we go on next season and we end up coming in the top 3, balling out, looking amazing, there'll be one singing his name. The point is, when they're angry, don't take the fan advice on managers and players when they're angry in that moment. You're meant to be the professionals. You should be knowing what you're doing at any single which moment. We've been very Woodward and Co. were very reactionary to the fans, and that didn't work for us. So I want us to buck that trend. Let's do a few super chats that have come in here that I don't want to miss. Man United is back to default settings. They had a purple patch in their history called Sir Alex Ferguson. Nothing new. I'm sorry to say this, Ray. What you've just said there is an absolute abomination to the game. If you look at the Busby Babes and what Sir Matt Busby brought to English football, it wasn't just one of the greatest footballing teams that
thinks this, by the way,
the world has ever seen. The Busby Babes were playing a brand of football that was so good. A big part of the reason that the Busby Babes died in that plane crash is because of how good their football was. Their football was amazing. It was groundbreaking. It was something that was creating huge pockets of fan bases for Manchester United outside of Manchester. Never been seen before in the UK this was happening. But the FA didn't want us playing in European football. So Matt Busby said that Champions League football, as we call it now, but European football back then, will become a cornerstone of the game. The FA didn't recognize this. Most English clubs went, no, this is stupid. And Man United was sort of pushed by the FA to not go into Europe because they didn't want to teach Europe our brand of football, this new brand of football that was growing. They wanted to shoebox it so that the national team were better. And Man United pushed back against this because we saw that Champions League football, European football was going to be a cornerstone. So Matt Busby witnessed that. So all the people in England that love that the Champions League exists and that the teams are in it, so Matt Busby was one of the cornerstones to pushing this. The reason why that this was a problem is that when we were trying to get back from the game against Red Star Belgrade, we wanted to postpone the game at the weekend. And the FA, disgruntled with us for going into Europe, basically said we'd forfeit the points. We had to get back. They threatened the club, which led to the decision to fly in that terrible weather that the crash happened in. So for me, when I see people say that Fergie was a purple patch, by the way, a quarter of a century is a massive long purple patch. For me, this is disingenuous. A team that was going to win did win league titles, but was going to win more. A team that was almost certain, it was battering European sides. It would have done what Madrid did in the 50s. It would have won 2 or 3 Champions Leagues. Then the whole team was killed and we had to rebuild again. And we built another team throughout the 60s that was winning trophies and won the Champions League. We had a period between the 70s and 80s, a 15-year period where it wasn't particularly great and it had to be rebuilt. And then we had a massively great period after that. So the idea that Man United was this team that only shone in the 90s, the reason you don't see a massive trophies in the period of the mid to late 50s into the early 60s is because that team was killed in a plane crash. So I think it's such a disingenuous take that we didn't have other eras. You need to learn your history on that, my friend. And I won't have the Busby Babes forgotten about ever. Not on this platform anyway. Binge here says taking debt is good business practice because over time, with inflation, the value of the debt goes down. This is true, okay? And as a business owner myself, there are times when you borrow money. However, say I borrow money to create a show, and that show busts, doesn't make any. Oh shit, it didn't work. And then I take another bit of debt to create another show, it doesn't work. And then another debt to take another show. Eventually, I run out of the ability to pay that debt back, but I've now got no show because they've all gone bust. There comes a point where debt is bad. So you're right, it's a great business practice, but there's also a point where it can absolutely cripple you because cash is king. And if you run out, you're in big trouble. A protest to kick the Glazers and Ineos out until they both are gone and empty the stadium. Watch this space on that conversation. We're going to have more of that on Thursday on the United Stand. I'd be adamant. Sorry, I'd be lenient. Sorry, if on Ineos if I could see that they had learnt from mistakes they had made with Nice and FC. I can't pronounce that word.
Lausanne.
There is a sense of disarray around United, and they are responsible for the football structure. I absolutely agree that sense is there and it exists, Patrick.
Can I say something to this, please?
Yeah, go on.
You stop inhaling the food.
Here's the thing. It's not food. It's just a small protein bar.
Or
Here's the thing, Patrick.
Say food.
This makes sense. This is a very objective super chat. The whole leeway and giving time thing, I never thought about it this way. And you just opened my eyes up to something. They already had owned a football club already. So they have experience running a football club. Is it as massive as Man United? Does it have pressure as much as Man United? No. Maybe this is why fans are upset. Because they already own a football club. So if Sheikh Jassim bought Liverpool tomorrow, I'm willing to give him 1 or 2 years to figure it out because I know that he wants to figure it out and he will spend money and he will make the club better. But he hasn't owned a football club before. The one thing with Ineos is they actually have owned a football club before. And I think this is where Patrick has brought up a very objective point that if you did own a football club before, then you shouldn't be making these mistakes, my brother. This is the thing.
Sam, when you went to pray, me and Terry had this conversation about the difference between Newcastle owners and how they turn.
Yeah.
Patrick, I would love to hear your takes on why Newcastle is just different.
I hear that. Mo with the troll shit again is what Runin
By
says
the way,
here.
Wallahi, it's not trolling, Ronin. It's question that keep coming to my mind. Will Man United be Leeds and Nottingham Forest, or will they are going to be Arsenal? Because now, the reason why I'm saying this, because Arsenal now are closer to, it's not Mo, ESPN, the betting companies, they put Arsenal are one of the 5-6 favorites of the Champions League. They put them as favorites to win the Premier League at the beginning. So Sam and myself put the Arsenal are favorites to win the Premier League in the beginning of the season. Some people said City. But the fact that they are in the conversation means Arsenal were a falling giant. Have they won? No. They are back to the top. And that is not a trolling question. Will Man United, and I keep repeating this, are the only club out of the top 5 that their name is not close at all in the last 12 years to close to the big competition, the Champions League and the Premier League. The only club.
Yeah, no, I hear you on that. If Amorim doesn't pick up results and gets dragged into a relegation bout, does he get sacked? He
Not
may,
this season.
but I don't think he should. The Red and Blues says, here's why indication is good in the beginning because they are here to protect the Glazers and they are good at PR. First, they look serious and now they do. When you say dodgy stuff, you need to be specific on that. I need something you think, because dodgy in my mind is criminality. So I need to understand what you mean by dodgy on that.